Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for doing this for me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I guess I first just want you to introduce yourself to the fans. Who are you? Who are you married to?
I wouldn't say I have any fans, but to my husband's fans, I am Cody Durden's wife. He's been in the UFC for I think 3 years now, so making his way. I'm very proud of him.
How did you guys meet originally?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Cody and I met when we were like 12 years old.
Oh,
We grew up in the same kind of town, two towns over, but they kind of like overflowed together. And we met at a skating rink, believe it or not. And the rest was history. We've known each other for most of our lives. So
was it roller skating or ice skating?
roller skating. Every Friday we would meet up there and we would roller skate till like 11 o'clock. Like they called it late skate. So we would roller skate together. He was my first kiss, and now he'll be my last. So
Oh, that is so cute. I'm all about the like romance and the meeting and all that stuff. I love these stories. That's so cute.
yeah.
So obviously I guess at 12 he wouldn't be fighting yet, but did it seem like he was always going to be a fighter, or was that something that came up later?
And so after we kind of just like I said, we grew up in different towns. We kind of just went to different schools. We met different people. And we just went our separate ways around high school. He had a child with someone else. I had a child with somebody else. And then we just kind of reconnected when those relationships fizzled out, which was such a blessing. Our kids are 2 months apart, or 1 month apart, excuse me. And yeah, we've been inseparable ever since. When I reconnected with him, he had only one fight under his belt. So we've kind of climbed the ladder together. I've seen him come from the bottom to where he is now, which has been such a privilege. So it's always really cool to see.
Was there any hesitation when you realized, when you guys reconnected, he was a fighter? Like, is there like, oh my gosh, like whatever the stereotypes of being married or dating a fighter would be, was there any hesitation with that?
I mean, not really, because not for me. I've never known a fighter. UFC, like I've heard of it, but when we started dating again, like I heard of it, never really watched it. None of my friends, family watched it or anything like that. So when I met Cody, he just basically introduced me to the fight game. Showed me the ropes, what he was doing. I didn't realize a lot, like the hard work that goes into it. I never realized that it was that serious. So it was new to me coming into the relationship. I was never really scared of it, more so proud, because where we come from, there's not a lot of people that have, goals and ambitions and stuff like that. So to see him live out his dream and do what he loves is special. So that's always fun.
Were your friends or family at all hesitant? Maybe your parents or siblings or anything were like, hey, he's a fighter, or do they have the same mindset that you do?
Yeah, I mean, they thought it was really cool. They were like, wow, okay, like this is different, definitely different from anything we've seen before, and they were very interested in it. And before UFC, his family were always at his fights. It's kind of hard for them to travel and expensive to travel back and forth, nowadays. So they don't come to every fight now, but everyone, my friends, family, everyone's always been supportive. His side, though, I wouldn't say has always been supportive. He's had a lot of people tell him in the past, like, you'll never make it here. You'll never be able to accomplish this. You have children, you're working a full-time job, you'll never climb to the top, you'll never meet your goals. So for him to have those type of people in his life, and just do the complete opposite and show them like it is possible, it's inspiring. So
What's been the hardest part of being married to a fighter?
oh Lord, where should I begin? The hardest part, um well, I guess when I was younger, I would say, he was gone a lot. He trained two times a day, worked a full-time job. He would get up in the mornings, go train, go to work, go to train after. And then now, as we've grown and we've both matured in our marriage and just matured in life in general, it's easy for me to let him go live his dream. I never want to hold him back. And I know that he's not leaving because he wants to leave. He's leaving because he has to. This is his job. It's just his passion and his goals. So, but I did struggle with that. Time management, I guess you could say. Prioritizing the family. But it was trial and error. He's totally got that down now. So do I. So we've really come far from that. I will also say weight cuts are hard to watch your spouse suffer in a way because they can't eat and they're cutting weight and they're not happy. And as a wife, you want to make your spouse happy, and there's nothing really you can do about that. But I guess those are probably the two hardest things. I mean, otherwise I try to be as supportive as I can, help him any way I can.
What's the best part? Like, what's the most fun part of it?
Well, we travel a lot. That's always fun. The best part is seeing a person that you love killing it and like living their best life. And he wakes up every day excited and happy and blessed. And it could be completely opposite. We have lived the complete opposite life before. So for that, like, that's a huge part of it, just being able to see him and thrive. And I guess that's the main thing for me. I just love seeing him happy and seeing him succeed. So
And this maybe is a question maybe for like earlier in his career, but were his opponents loved ones, so his opponents' wives or girlfriends, did they ever interact with you at fights? Was there ever any beef between like the wives?
early on, gosh, these other promotions, they're not as classy, I guess, if you could say UFC. So sure, like there's banter in the background. If your man is fighting my man, whatever, they might make little slick comments, but nothing too serious. And definitely not in the UFC that I've experienced. I've never experienced anything like that in UFC. So that's been cool because I don't like the drama.
Yeah.
Too old for that.
There's kind of an unwritten rule amongst fighters when it comes to trash talk that you leave the wife and kids out of it. Have there ever been any instances where the fighter has brought you into it? Or how would you feel?
Yeah, several.
Oh, really?
Several, yeah. But this was like not since UFC, but prior to the other promotions, they like to talk about me. And I don't post my kids on social media anymore because people are really, really cruel. It took one time and I learned really quickly, okay, well, I'm not gonna subject my children to that type of behavior or any kind of hate to them because they're completely innocent in all of it. But yeah, I mean, back in the day, there definitely used to be some things said, just to get under each other's skin, I mean, and I didn't really mind it that much. I rolled it, moved along, but not in UFC that I've seen. And I don't have Twitter. I mean, I do have Twitter, but I'm not very like Twitter savvy. So whatever's being said on there, I'm probably oblivious to it anyways. So, and Cody never really tells me. So,
well, I've only ever seen positive things about you on Twitter. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know because I literally can't figure out how to work it. So I have one, but I don't really.
Twitter is a terrible place. So
yeah. Well, and if you read my tweets, what I have tweeted on there before, it's so toxic, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay off of here, because I go down these rabbit holes and I'm like, oh, that's awful. That's awful. That's not true. That's not true. But it's fine.
Yeah.
People are gonna say what they're gonna say.
Yeah. And how does it feel when you see, and maybe you don't see it because it's definitely more on Twitter, when fans are coming after your husband, because there have been times where they've come after him for things. And Twitter is a place where one person says it and then everyone joins in. So it's, even if they don't believe it, they just want to be in that group of like the mob mentality. Have you seen that? And how do you handle how he reacts to it too?
So I've seen it on all platforms. It's not just Twitter, it's Instagram, it's Facebook. I have seen, I can navigate my way over to Cody's Twitter and read the comments. I can do at least that. I can't, at first it used to bother me. I don't feel the need anymore as Cody grows in the UFC and as we get older. I don't feel the need to defend any of our character or anything like that. I feel like we know who we are as people, we know who we are as friends, we know our hearts and souls, and I don't feel the need to defend what people have to say about us. I know Cody is a jokester. He thinks a lot of it's funny, and a lot of it is funny. He kind of makes it lighthearted, I guess, because you could look at it and get really upset, or you can joke about it and make it lighthearted, and that's what he does. So I appreciate that, because sometimes it does get a little daunting, but for the most part, we just let it roll off our backs and act like we don't even care, because we don't.
Yeah, that's the best way to
No.
do it. What is your fight style in terms of when he's fighting? Are you right up there up close screaming and hollering? Are you in the back cowering? Are you avoiding the fight altogether? What's sort of your fight night style?
So I'm a really loud person in general. So, and I keep telling myself every fight, okay, Brittany, you're not going to scream. You're going to compose yourself, because we're not going to do all that, right? Because typically he's been fighting in the Apex, which is a quiet place. It's not like you have thousands of fans around and your voice just blends in with everybody else. You're very heard in the Apex Center, okay? So I tell myself, okay, Brittany, keep it down. We're not going to cause attention, and we're not going to be rewatching the fight and all you're going to hear is my mouth on YouTube, So never works out that way. I'm very loud. I'm cheering. I'm up and down in my seat. Yeah, that's just, I've always been that way, just cheering loud and proud, because that's what I am.
Have you been able to go to all of his UFC fights? I know that there was, with COVID and stuff, I'm not sure if there were times where you weren't allowed.
Yeah, I've been able to go to everyone but London, and that was just strictly, I didn't have my passport in time. So definitely didn't have my passport in time, and that's the only reason why I didn't get to go. But every other one, I've been there.
Awesome. And what's something that you wish the fans knew about him that they don't get to see?
Well, I wish that they got to know his heart a little better and stop making judgments, and just make it a little more fun for everybody. He is a great father, a great husband. He loves the sport. He's passionate about it. I don't know. But I also feel like with Cody, what you get is what you see. He's 100% transparent, and you're either going to love him or hate him. So that's, yeah, I don't really have an answer for that, but I happen to love him very much. He's a really good person, really good guy. I lucked out. So
awesome. And I guess my last question for you, what sort of goals have you guys put, or if you have goals like this, where, you say, when you get the belt, we're going to buy a new house, or when you do this, we're going to get a new car? Are there any kind of like goals like that you guys have personally?
Yeah, so we're investing is our goal. We have had opportunities to buy like whatever, but materialistic things, they don't really matter to us. You could have the best car, but our goal is to set up our kids' future, so they don't have to do much. I want them to go to school and do stuff like that, but I also feel like setting them up for success also won't hurt. So our main goal is to find something to invest in, which is what we've been talking about recently. We just cannot pinpoint what we want to do. So we are working towards that goal, figuring out what we're going to invest in. We have a few minds. We've been dabbling in some things, talking to some investors, some, going back and forth. But he's really just been focusing on fighting right now and training. So what I think that will come once things slow down for him a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't, but we have some things up our sleeves we're working on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thanks for having me, and I hope you have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too.
All right, see you later.
Bye-bye.